Let's talk about its second property. When electric field is applied to the stream of cathode rays, they get deflected towards the positive plate. Now it means that since they are deflected towards the positive plate, it means that they are having the negative charge. Means the particles present in the cathode rays are having the negative charge. Let's see what he observed. So you can see in this diagram, this picture, that one negative and positive sign there, that is showing the electric field, and the cathode ray is not going towards anode properly, it is moving towards the positive terminal, and this shows the particles are having the negative charge. But what are those particles? Still we don't know. We have to understand, we have to learn more about its properties, the properties of the cathode rays, right? So let's move on to the next property. The other property is when the magnetic field is applied perpendicular to the path of the cathode ray, they get deflected in that direction expected for the negative particle. Now this is the confirmation of the thing that cathode rays are negatively charged. It means that the cathode rays is a beam of negatively charged particles. In the case of the electric field, they move towards the positive direction, means the positive plate. In the magnetic field, they are moving because the force is applied, and we all know that when any charged particle comes under the influence of the magnetic field, it experiences some force and they are moving in that direction which is expected from a negative charged particle. So this was the confirmation of that the cathode rays are composed of negatively charged particles. Let us see how it happens. Now clearly you can see from here, the rays are going and the rays are deflected towards that direction, and this is confirming that they are having the negatively charged particles, right? Let's move on to the next property. So next property is cathode rays produce X-rays when they are made fall on the metals. It means that they are having some energy. When they fall on the surface of the tungsten and the copper, they emit, they collide, they emit X-rays. And how does it happen? It happens in this manner. Now you can clearly see from here, cathode rays are coming from left to right, and after collision with the metal, X-rays are coming out. So this is one more property of cathode rays. Let's move on to the next property, and the next property is cathode ray travel in a straight line. So we know that visible lights also travel in a straight line, and due to that it casts shadow. So cathode ray travel in a straight line. An object placed in the path of the cathode rays cast a sharp shadow. So this was the property of the cathode rays. What he observed, it shows that cathode rays travel in the straight line. The next property is when cathode rays are focused on a thin metal foil, it gets heated up. Now this is very important property. It means that since the metal is heating up, means they are having some energy, because we know that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So its energy is transferring into that particular thin metal foil, and that energy is converting into heat energy. So the particles of the cathode rays is having some kind of energy. That's why the thin metal foil is getting heated up, right? The next property is, on striking the walls of the discharge tube, cathode ray produce the faint greenish fluorescence. Now this we have already discussed, that when they collide on the walls of that particular tube, they form faint greenish color. Now the next property is, cathode rays ionize the gas through which they pass. Now guys, the tube is evacuated as we say, but there is a pressure of 10 to the minus 4 of atmosphere, right? Now if I say the box is empty, but there will be some air in it, right? In the same way, if I say that the tube is empty, it is evacuated, but there are some gaseous particles present in that particular tube. So if electrons are originating from the cathode and they are moving towards the anode, they will definitely collide to that molecules of those gases, and after collision they will ionize those particles of that particular gas. Let me explain you how it happens. For example, oxygen gas is present in the tube, so it becomes O2 plus, and it again gives an electron, and this electron moves towards the positive terminal, and this O2 plus moves towards the negative terminal. So if we have nitrogen, then it will become N2 plus electron. So if we have any other gas, it will ionize, and if I talk about these two electrons are same, means the electrons coming out of the oxygen and the electron coming out of the nitrogen will be same obviously, but the positive particles, they are not same. Now this point you have to keep in mind, the positive particles are not same, and we will learn this thing in anode rays after studying the property of the cathode rays, right? So these electrons, they will move towards the positive terminal, they are cathode rays particles. Since it is not given in the book like this, but I am telling you here only, and these particles will compose anode rays, and anode rays were discovered after the discovery of the cathode rays. And don't worry, we will discuss about anode rays also. Let us complete this properties of cathode rays first, right? So that's how cathode rays ionize the gas through which it passes, right? So the next point is, they can penetrate through the thin metal foil. So they can go inside the metal foil, they can penetrate the metal foil. This is a normal type of property. The charge by mass ratio, that is E by M, for the particles of the gases is independent of the nature of the gas. What does it mean? Now again, as we discussed earlier, either it is oxygen or it is nitrogen or it is any other gas. If they are ionized. They will become gaseous cations and electrons will come out of it. Now guys, oxygen is becoming oxygen plus, N2 is becoming N2 plus. Now electron coming out of the oxygen or nitrogen, they both will be same, right? The charge of the electron will be minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Mass of the electron will be 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Either we take this electron or we take this electron, and he is saying charge to the mass ratio, that is E by m, that will be independent of the nature of the gas. Means which gas we have taken, it doesn't matter. So he is saying correct. Why? Because this electron and this electron both are same. Their charges are same, their masses are also same, right? But as I told you earlier, we are going to discuss anode rays after this. O2 and N2, they are having different masses, having same charges. In that case, this E by m ratio, which is called specific charge also, that is dependent on type of gas. So let's see, with the help of this cathode ray experiment, how Millikan and J.J. Thomson found the charge and the mass of the electron.